Geez, I'm tired of this heat. Screw it. Let's do a top 10. Oh, yeah. Gonna beat that summer heat with that Lofi Poli Sci podcast, Tuesday's top 10 list. Coming at you, doing a little bit of a catch-up and house clean to the other end of a list we started 2 weeks ago. Because last week we had Hipsville's AD, Gregory Dade, giving us his top 10 list, an introduction to East Asian cinema. Definitely check that out if you missed it, peeps. But before that, 2 weeks ago, we started a list from Reporters Without Borders. That's right, we did the top 10 countries according to media freedoms. In other words, the 10 countries with the freest media in the world. But today, sadly, we got to do the other end of that list. That's right, today we're doing the 10 countries with the least free media in the world. And Reporters Without Borders, just to go back and recover it for you, they rank countries and territories from 180 to 1 as far as media freedoms go. 1 being the freest country in the world, 180 being the least free country or territory in the world. And it's based off of responses by experts and industry professionals to a survey on each of the countries. Now, you may be wondering, 180 countries and territories? Well, that sounds like they're missing a few, ? And right you are, but hey, it's as simple as this. Some countries, you just can't get those answers to those surveys, and thus, you can't quantify the level of media freedom in a comparative framework like Reporters Without Borders is doing. So 180? Here we are. And now, straight to it, the list. Coming in at number 10, or rather, number 171, Cuba. Number 9 on our list, at 172, is Laos. Number 8, taking the 173rd spot, Iran. Number 7 on our list, Syria. Number 6, Vietnam. And now to the 5 countries with the least free media in the world. Number 5, Djibouti. Number 4, China. Number 3, Eritrea. Number 2, Turkmenistan. And coming in at number 1, the country with the least free media in the world? I'll give you a 5 count to see if you can guess. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you said North Korea, you're absolutely correct. But hey, let's call them by their true name today. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Oh yeah. And there you have it, our top 10 list of the least free media countries in the world. But now let's dig a little deeper. And first off, we should notice that there's a good bit of global geographic variation in this list. I mean, with the Far East Asia, with Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Middle East, Africa, the Caribbean, going to show you can be anywhere and not have a free media system. And really, in a lot of ways, there's not too much surprise on this list, is there? You see some of the most hardcore authoritarian regimes in the entire world pop up on our list. And it only makes sense, right? I mean, that if you're going to be an effective long-term dictatorship or any other kind of authoritarian regime, you have to have a lid on that media. You just have to. You can't be a successful dictator today with a free media system. It doesn't happen. I mean, some of these countries, though, in the context of international news, are pretty obscure. I mean, we hear about the number 1, North Korea, all the time. Sure. But how much do we hear, I don't know, for instance, about Turkmenistan in the international news? Not very much. I mean, although we did talk about them just yesterday. And what do we say? You know, yesterday, that Turkmenistan won their first Olympic medal in the country's history. I mean, kick-ass, hell yeah. And we also talked about how Monsieur El Presidente, well, he gave that medalist, upon returning to the country, a brand new Lexus SUV and $50,000 cash. Sounds great, right? Sounds like a nice president, surely. ? How about this? How about the president of Turkmenistan? He's first been president since 2007. 14 years and 3 elections later. His first election, he won with 89% of the vote. His second election, he won with 97% of the vote. And his last election in 2017, he won with 97.69% of the vote. and you thought your country had election issues. People, no politician wins a presidential election with 97.69% of the vote. It doesn't happen. But hey, they do have the second least media as far as freedom goes in the world. So maybe we shouldn't be too surprised. But let's jump to that all-important question we have to ask on every list we do. Why does this list even matter? And the short and best answer is, we have no way to know what's going on in the world today if countries don't have free media systems. We'd have no way to know if what we heard was true or not. And a great example for you. You may remember back in May of 2020, just over a year ago, Venezuela, led by President Maduro, who, just to let you know, ranks number 147 as far as media freedom, so not that good. Well, last year, they supposedly, major finger quotes here around that, they supposedly stopped a coup attempt that was backed by the West and, in particular, the United States. And let me ask you, did you hear about the United States trying to take over Venezuela last year? Or did you? From the get-go of this all taking place, when the Venezuelan authorities caught these people, which they killed most of them. They killed 8 people and took 2 people prisoner. But they went with this story about a Western U.S.-backed coup from the very beginning. And no one in the world picked up the story and accused the West of a failed coup attempt. Now, they did give headlines like this, though. Maduro accuses West and United States of failed coup attempt. But no one actually buys that story because there's no media freedom in Venezuela. You know, that narrative is not checked by anyone. It's just created and put out there by the government. And my friends, that's just one example of a million of fake news out there in the world. A topic for another day, perhaps. Oh, and I bet you're wondering, well, where's the U.S. on this list of 180 countries and territories across the globe? Well, I gave that to you 2 weeks ago. You can hit the rewind button. And that's this Tuesday's Top 10 list. Come back tomorrow for that Lo-Fi Global News. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Peace and well-being to all my human beings out there. Much love and always the best. Pickering, signing off.